the Among Lionhearts podcast, where we dare to have moxie for what matters. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Julia, and we are your new loudmouth, change-making, do-gooder best friends, here to embolden you to take more action, risk, and heart towards creating a more just, equitable, and brave world.
Today, we are interviewing Kathy Terzi, who is Executive Director of One Nation Walking Together in Colorado Springs. And One Nation Walking Together is an organization that strives to make an impact in the lives of Native Americans, of people that are greatly underserved and misrepresented. One Nation Walking Together is an organization about people helping people, not a cause. By loading 53-foot semi-trucks that deliver just over 1 million worth of donated goods to reservations annually, One Nation Walking Together provides hope and services to between 30 and 40,000 Native Americans in Colorado and 7 other surrounding states. So Kathy, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Great. Thank you for having me. I am Kathy Terzi. I am the Executive Director here at One Nation Walking Together. I've been the Executive Director for almost 4 years. I have to think about that.
Yeah.
And I've done almost all the positions here. I've been here for 15 years now, and I started as the warehouse driver, picking up donations, and being the Executive Director now. I've seen it all, done it all here, and I'm thinking that it's more my privilege to be here than it is my job.
Right. Absolutely. Like, we feel that way too, and especially about getting to interview people like you. And Kathy, we were just so excited that you're here, and what you're doing is, what you and your organization are doing are just incredible. What is one thing you want people to know about One Nation Walking Together?
Oh, well, 100 things. No.
Yeah.
One thing about our organization that's really important is we're an organization that serves Native American people, not only just on the reservations and the communities that we talk about that's on our website, because our website, we're under construction right now. But over the last several years, we've been striving and working really hard to build our local emergency service program for Native Americans here within the Pikes Peak region. And our website right now doesn't reflect that. And we're still having that conversation. So if I were to say something that we've been doing for several years that's not really out there as much as our local emergency service program, and what is that, would be unique and different for each person. What's a crisis in your life is different from a crisis in somebody else's life. And it might be an unhoused family. I just got back before our interview today, a young mom and her 3-year-old and 1-year-old. She just got employment. She's going to start next Tuesday. She's got an apartment lined up, but she's got to show proof of her income first before she can get into the apartment. But she's living in her car with her sister. And so I just got her into a motel for the next couple of weeks and a few items to get them to be able to eat and not be in a car.
Settled. Yeah,
being
absolutely.
able to cook out of the motel in the microwave and with a hot plate and some dishes and some things. So they're not living homeless till they can get into this apartment that they have lined up. And it's really just getting people out of that crisis mode into sustainable mode. And that story for each person in their journey is different. So it's really important to meet each client where they're at.
Absolutely.
And trying to fill that need. So it's hard to talk about what is the emergency service program. Maybe it's they just got that apartment. They need furniture and some dishes so they can eat and can get a good night's sleep. So we've done that as well. But that's one thing I'd really want people to know, that we're striving really hard building the program and filling those needs as well.
That makes a big impact in those lives, right? I mean, it may seem little when you're donating some of your household appliances or $10 to One Nation Walking Together, but it makes a really big impact in their lives, and that's fantastic.
It's a huge impact. Dealing with this family this morning and seeing how tired they were. She needed to go for a drug test for the employment, but knowing that she has a place for her little boys to sleep tonight, and that she'll be able to shower for her job, rest, to be rested, to perform well at the job, to move forward, just to be out of that cycle of craziness and survival each day, to go into sustainable is a huge impact. So that $10 or that $20 that's donated, or the blankets or the hygiene items to help those people out, to go to work clean and to not be homeless again or unhoused is huge. It's
Yeah.
life changing for some of the clients that we serve, and the hugs that you receive in return are even bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. Priceless. Kathy, can you tell us the story behind why One Nation Walking Together was started?
I would love to. It was established many years ago. Our nonprofit status was in '93, but years before that, a man named Bill and his wife Elaine Glenn knew of the need on the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. And so they took their own household belongings and some coats and some items and drove up to the Pine Ridge Reservation into a gas station called Big Bats. And they went inside and they met some locals and they said, "Hey, good morning or afternoon. We have these items in our vehicle. Do you know anybody who would need them?" And they made friends. And of course, they came back, shared that with their neighbors. They live in Manitou Springs. And
Yeah.
their friends started donating things to them. Their church started helping them. They had to get a van. They had to get a storage unit. Now we're sending 53-foot semi-trailers all the way from Montana down to New Mexico and Arizona, Oklahoma. And now we have our emergency service program as well. So I think they've done huge things to help the Native
Absolutely.
peoples.
It's really encouraging to see what you have, what you and your organization has been able to achieve. I mean, 8 states, you're serving in 8 states, and was there like 11, there's 11 tribes that you guys serve. It's just incredible. And there's really, in my experience, there's, not very many nonprofit organizations that have been around for 28 years, and you guys seem to continue to keep growing. It's really inspiring. It must be, there's a lot of good people out there, and your organization like represents that. I'm sure over those 28 years, you guys have had a lot of challenges, and we were wondering what you thought was the biggest challenge your organization has had to overcome. Do you think?
I think the largest challenge to overcome is we started out very, very small and trying to grow awareness that A, Native Americans are not extinct, B, they still live on reservations, and to go into a church or a service group or a Sertoma, whatever that invitation allowed us to go talk and to have somebody stand up and say, there's Native people that still exist. They're not extinct.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Or they still live on reservations. I didn't know reservations still existed. And it's like, wow, how do you answer those questions? And so I had to learn really quickly, and it was the benefit of a lot of Native people's teaching and guiding me and educating me as well. But to address people and say, yes, there's still an underserved population. Not every reservation is economically challenged, but the ones we serve are. And we stay within the Western states because of the cost of the semi trucks. We fundraise to send those trucks. But to help educate the general public, many people do know of the need, and just trying to rally people, come volunteer. Think of us when you're making your donations of the clothes that you don't wear anymore, or the furniture that you're replacing. Think of us when you're making that donation, and the why, because it's a hand up for these people who might not have the ability to get that, or they're making this choice. Do I spend this $5 on a gallon of milk, or this box of food, or this gallon of gas so I can get to dialysis? Yes, they exist. They still live on reservations, and some of them are economically challenged and could use a hand up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that's quite a surprising challenge that you have, that there are so many people that are just not aware of what's happening, and in these tribes and stuff, and in these areas, and about Indigenous people and stuff like that. And so you're how you've been able to kind of address those things is through your public education program, where you go to like schools and churches, and
we just talk about what we do and the why we do it.
Yeah.
We've been blessed to occasionally have somebody come out with us, either be a native person to do a demonstration of their beautiful song, flute playing, drumming, their dance, or it's just
Oh,
simply
wow.
talking about our organization and who we're serving, why they might think of us for their donations and where they're gonna go.
Mhm.
And what the, surrounding areas might look like. Why are we gonna send this truck to Pine Ridge? Why are we sending it to Lower Brule or Montana or Navajo Nation in the New Mexico, Arizona areas? And
Are
why
you guys
that's important.
Are you guys currently starting up that like program again and stuff like that? Like, or going around to do like speaking events?
With the virus starting to slow down, we've actually been doing more of them by Zoom. We've been invited onto some
Ah.
church Zooms and some other things. And so it's nice to see things getting a little bit more normal.
Yeah.
But I think over the years, we've been very lucky to have some of the people in the different organizations and some of the things just happening in our world, like Standing Rock several years ago. The Native people are gaining a voice and there's more awareness in our country that there is Native presence, and we have Native people in our government now. And so
Yeah.
I think the education of our country is gaining, and so that's really hopeful too. So
Yeah.
we are getting more invitations to go out and say, we're still here, we're still sending donations to the communities, and still think of us for your donations, because people still need these things, especially after the sting virus and during the virus.
Definitely.
But I'm glad to see that the country is gaining some education, that we got Native representation now, and that's helping a lot.
Absolutely. Kathy, our audience here at Among Lionhearts is other nonprofits. And so we always like to ask our guests what advice they would have for somebody who is thinking about starting a nonprofit. Do you have any words of wisdom?
Starting a nonprofit?
Yeah.
Or you could do any advice on
An
not
up
just
and
starting.
coming nonprofit even.
Yeah, or like advice for someone who just maybe started working at a nonprofit and stuff like that. Anything like that. Like if you could go back to tell your younger self some advice to like give yourself a little boost,
You'll never be caught up. There's always gonna be something on your desk.
yeah.
I used to make lists for myself of what I'm gonna do the next day, and that list never got done because something always comes up, and that's okay.
Yeah.
As long as you're serving your people or your mission, whatever it is that you're doing, and meeting your clients where their needs are, and doing the best that you can do and fill a need for your clients, and give yourself a break. You gotta have to have some self-care, because there's been many nights I don't sleep.
Yeah.
Hear
Yeah.
about the storms that hit some of the places, and I know that the houses that they're at are inadequate to be warm, or you have to learn to shut your brain off. I haven't figured out how to do that. I would have told my younger self, learn to turn your brain off and give yourself rest.
Yeah.
And you can't work 7 days a week
Oh.
for years and years and years and years in a row, or you're gonna burn out and get sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta take a day off once in a while. Take a day
Yeah,
off once in a
absolutely.
while. Because I didn't do that for
Going.
years and years.
So you
We
But I think
recently
that's
just
okay, too. I
did.
think you gotta take a break sometime.
Yeah.
I'm learning that now. I just learned that a couple of years ago. I'm learning how to do that myself. But you'll never be caught up.
Mhm.
Yep. Put your
And
own mask on
for
first,
help.
right?
Huh?
I said, put your own oxygen mask on first when the airplane starts going down.
Yeah.
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 So we noticed that One Nation Walking Together prides itself in being a continued source of support for volunteer families. Can you tell us why you believe it was important to set yourself apart in this way?
Well, Native peoples are just so underserved
Yeah.
historically, currently, economically. The statistics speak for themselves. And you just got to meet the clients where they're at. And you
Yeah.
just
We noticed on your
can't allow the
website.
statistics to stay the same. You gotta try your darndest to lift them up and try to change the statistics.
Yeah.
And if the reservations or the communities are trying to get those kiddos to get through school, get the suicide rates down because they're horrifying. If it means get them what they need so that they can have a better life, so that they can go to school or go to college and come back, help their people, or get into the government so they can change it for the people. You know, it's my goal personally just to do what I can do, just to try to help the people. And if it's through our emergency service program here to get them out of unhoused situations or help them to have a more comfortable life, get them off the floor and into a bed, have the utensils they need so they can eat, have proper nutrition, have a better life. You can't work, go to school without proper nutrition, proper sleep, proper rest. I've been on the reservation. You see the kids come home without socks on and too small shoes.
Yeah.
How do you get proper education when your feet are being smushed? Let's
Yeah.
rally as people. Let's make sure that the kids are comfortable, the elders are honored, they're comfortable. We did a giveaway once, and we were up on the reservation, and the community members rallied really hard to get one of the first beds off of the truck and off to the elder who was very sick with cancer and going to pass soon, but they wanted to honor her, make sure she was comfortable, and had a nice, honorable, comfortable place to finish off her journey on earth. That's
That's
important.
beautiful. It is. Yeah.
So it's not even just the babies, but it's the elders, it's the adults, and treating people with dignity. And if there's not anybody else doing it, then let's do it.
Yeah.
When you go and you meet people and you see there's a need, it's my privilege to try and fill that need.
Absolutely.
We have
Absolutely.
the best owners and the best volunteers. They're really the ones that make it happen. I just get to help navigate it. But I guess share the stories and people step up through this virus. And if I'm lollygagging off your question, I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine.
I love this.
Yeah, I
But
think
we
you're
see
starting to
that-
touch on that next one is, that the past year's been really challenging for everybody. But we would like to know some of those specific ways
It has
that
been
you
very
had to pivot.
challenging. We saw astronomical numbers. The reservations were hit horribly. The native peoples had the highest number. Navajo Nation had the highest death rates over New York and some other things that the news were talking about. And then they started putting some of those numbers on the news. And we worked really hard to get those supplies down to the people due to that. And what we saw on the news is the negativity. You see it on Facebook, the negativity and the people fighting in this election year and people fighting in the negativity and all this blah.
Yeah.
That made me even more grateful for my job, even for the blah, because so many people showed up, dropping off supplies, dropping off what the requests were, helping get things together so we could ship it to the people. And people that were vulnerable themselves in our community, elders, churches, people that should probably be safer at home, were coming, dropping off at the door so we could bring them in, get them packaged, and helping us serve the people that we need. I saw so many positive, wonderful, kind people helping us serve the people that we serve. The donors just really came through with shining colors. And I think that's what mentally got me through the blah.
Yeah.
And the kind, genuine people that so do exist in a world that was so negative and still kind of, because that's promoted, right? Everything promoted
Yeah.
negative. And I wish I could have just said, well, you're not looking in our little tiny corner of the world.
We've got some sunshine over here we're sharing.
Did your organization, sorry about that. Did your
ahead.
organization have to pivot in any way to accommodate the pandemic?
Oh, we pivoted 895 degrees. We
Yeah.
normally take in donations on a daily basis. We send out our box truck to pick up larger donations like furniture and appliances that don't fit in people's trunks. And we had to stop that.
Mm.
We
Yeah.
send the semi trailers to a upstanding community member in the communities, and usually they socially gather to come do the giveaway, whether it be at a community center, a parking lot, a school, and not being able to socially gather. How do they do that? So what we had to do is stop sending the semi trucks. We started renting Penske trucks or U-Hauls. We take our van and we would take the smaller loads out and work with the pop-up organizations or the community systems, whichever. It was different in each reservation that we would go to, and drop off the loads of the cleaning supplies, the sanitizer, the facial masks, whether they were sewn for us or the disposable ones,
Yeah.
and drop them off so that they could put them together, package them up, and do the drive-by pickups or the door stop. They deliver them to people's doors. And so it was really, they were figuring things out while we were figuring things out. And then we also mailed a lot of things through UPS and the postal system. So to use a 53-foot trailer, all of a sudden driving all over the country and using UPS and navigating that was a big, huge change.
Yeah,
But
that sounds like a
But
lot
it
of work.
worked.
Yeah, that
It
sounds like a
worked.
lot of extra work.
It was worth it.
I was actually looking at your Facebook page, and I really love how you guys do your donation drives. And you do them specifically for like a tribe at a time. Is that correct? Or at least some of them that I've seen?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
When we do our food drive is just our largest food drive. We collect food all year round, but our
Mhm.
food drive is March and April, and that's when we collect the largest amount of food usually for the year. And that's not just for one tribe. That's usually what we start packaging up, and we'll put, lots of food on the different semis that we'll send throughout the year.
Absolutely.
Last year was on different box trucks that we were taking out. The school supply drive right now that we're doing will go out on the semi truck we're working on, and then other shipments as well. But we will post up that currently we're loading for the Lower Rural Reservation. When that truck's loaded, we'll advertise we're loading for this one, because we don't just load what we want to load on each semi. I navigate with the community. What are your needs? Do you need adult clothes? You don't? Well, then we're not going to put them on there. Do you need jeans? Yes. Okay, we'll put them on there. You really need a bunch of appliances? Well, we'll ask for that as the top needs. It's a large community that has a big need for baby items, so that'll be on the top needs list. So when we're working on different shipments, you'll see the list of top needs change. So we do talk specifically on each load, but the different drives, Christmas, school supply, and food drives, those are our annual drives to get us through any truck, because they always need food.
Yeah.
School supplies and the hygiene drives that we do.
I think that's just so smart from like a nonprofit marketing standpoint, that you guys specifically ask, what do you need? And then you let your donors know specifically. So nothing is, the amount of waste is like a lot less on those donations. And what it does for donors is it really helps build that trust with your organization, that like their things that they're donating, their efforts like are going to make
really
much
needed.
bigger. Yeah, you're really
It
needed.
does.
They're gonna make a big impact. And it makes it more relatable to them too, like your cause, it makes it more like intimate and connects more with them when you guys are like that transparent. I just think it's fantastic.
And we have to do that way. We don't have storage, especially when we had to
Hmm.
stop sending the semi trucks, but we don't have storage for the extra things right now. If this truck's not asking for a certain thing, or they really don't need something, we can't take it. There's no room in the warehouse till we get some of these semis back out. But it's really important, more so for the community that we're serving, because we cannot send them things that they're not in need of. What are they going to do with items they don't need? That's like me going in as a white man saying, this is what you need. I'm going to solve your problems with stuff you don't need. That doesn't fix it for nobody.
That's
It
really
really
special,
does.
Kathy. I really want to kind of emphasize a point here that being an organization that navigates all the logistical challenges of not being able to provide like a one size fits all solution, that's really special. And I know maybe if you're in an organization that does that on a regular basis, sometimes we lose a little bit of that awareness, but we applaud you. That's really, really incredible whenever any charity organization, but definitely with One Nation Walking Together, that you guys have all of these donations coming in, such a large need base that you're serving, and you're managing to really be selective and make sure that you're not just bringing them things that they don't need. I think that when you're on the receiving end as a beneficiary from a nonprofit receiving things you don't need, it really feels like people don't care to get to know what you need, and I've just, there's so many ways that is incredible.
And
Yeah.
that's what I really try to strive to do. We want to make sure that the items are clean. There's no stains, no tears. Quite often, there's no laundry facilities or even water to the homes.
Yeah.
There's a community in Arizona where 98% of the homes don't have water. 1/3 of the homes up in a community in South Dakota, 1/3 of the homes don't have water. So when we package up soft items, clothes, towel sheets, those items need to come out of that box and be able to be usable. So we try
Absolutely.
ourselves to be able to sort those donations, make sure they're clean, usable as best of our ability, and serviceable as soon as they get there. Mattresses don't have stains, the couches, we want to be a hand up and not just a simple handout. And quite often we get well, here's this pair of shoes, they're better than nothing. And I disagree with that statement, because if I cannot put my feet in those shoes, give them to my mother, my brother, my uncle, then they're not better than nothing.
I
I'd rather
think that
than something that's going to dishonor somebody's pride.
I think that I love how you said, like, we want to give a hand up, not a handout, and and that reminds me of your food sustainability program, which I just think is so incredible. And that helps get people like chickens and coops and stuff so that they can have.
Fucking awesome.
What is that?
Yeah.
Fucking awesome. I love the chickens. We've actually taken a break from that. That was a
Oh, that is cool.
great experience. And there's a picture on the website with the 2 little girls when I'm having them pet the little chicken. That was the first time they seen a baby chicken. That was one of the most awesome trips I'd ever been on, with those little girls seeing the chicken. But some other community members had started getting coops, and then larger communities started doing the coops. So we've actually set that down temporarily because they're doing it now, and some others. So I don't take credit for that at all. I think that we're kind of doing it alongside some other people that were doing it as well.
Nice.
And I'm glad they're doing it as well, so we can come back to what we were originally doing. That's collect the donations and sort them and ship them.
Yeah.
That was a fun thing to do. It was a lot of hard work, and it was
I bet we love how resourceful you guys are and how you're addressing these very important, like, social issues in such creative ways. Can you give us a few specific ways listeners can support One Nation Walking Together?
Support us, help spread the word, like our Facebook page, be aware of what we're doing, let people know that there's still issues in Indian country and there's a way to give a hand up. Think of us for your gently used clothing, furniture. If you're in the area of Colorado Springs, attend our events. Think about being a volunteer when we're ready to start having more volunteers, as this virus is going to go away, please.
Yeah.
Think about getting on our webpage and becoming a monthly donor, or just making a one-time donation, like we were talking about earlier. Fundraise to send those semi trucks. It's not a cost to the communities at all. And with these fuel costs, these trucks are getting a little expensive.
Yeah. And people can have the like the Facebook birthday fundraisers and collect money and donate it back to One Nation Walking Together. And I think even you got to this point earlier in what you were saying, even just sharing what you know about the challenges on some of the native reservations may make a difference, because it's not common knowledge as much as somebody who knows about it maybe thinks that it is. And I
Sure.
think that we take that for granted.
And if you're a fellow nonprofit and think there's a way to collaborate,
Yeah.
reach out. There's many ways to collaborate as nonprofits. That's one of the biggest things that I think nonprofits
Don't do enough
recognize
of?
until they don't do
Yeah.
enough
Yeah, we
collaborating and
advocate that
sharing.
all the time, Kathy. It's
Yeah.
like we sent you a
It's all about
script.
collaboration. You have to work together. You have to work together. We just, the
Yeah,
young lady we helped this morning was for a referral from another agency that wasn't able to help her. So collaborate.
definitely.
It's
Definitely.
share. It's great. That's what makes the world goes round. It helps more people. It's all about the
Absolutely.
people we serve, right? Or the mission work.
Definitely. Kathy, we just have to thank you again for
No.
coming and joining us today, sharing your time, sharing your knowledge and your expertise, sharing your story about One Nation Walking Together, and also just thank you for being an amazing human being. we
Well,
really appreciate.
It's not me. It's truly the volunteers. It's truly the donors. I just get to be the middleman, but I thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here and meet you both. And it's just a privilege for me to do what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't do it. Everybody else does it. The volunteers and the donors.
We can tell how much you really appreciate them. It's we also just love what we do and being able to interact and help nonprofits like yours and get to know you guys and be a part of that.
Share
It's
stories.
incredibly, yeah, it's incredibly rewarding for us as well. Our do-gooder feature of the month is One Nation Walking Together. And we're super excited that Kathy is with us today. It is Make a Difference for Children Month, and we would like to encourage you to learn more about how you can make an impact in the lives of children in your communities. And then please share what you've learned with others. Education is the most powerful tool in empowering those in need and breaking down barriers. Please like, follow, and share their cause on social media to continue supporting them and share their message. If you do know of a great cause that you would like us to feature, please nominate that nonprofit in the comments or DM us or email us at hello@amonglionhearts.com. We love discovering new nonprofits and highlighting them.
Yes. Our do-gooder feature or our do-gooder hype up message today is humanitarianism consists in never sacrificing a human being to a purpose. It's a quote by Albert Schweitzer.
Among Lionhearts is a socially conscious marketing agency where we specialize in social media management and influencer marketing for the unique needs of social enterprises and charities. Let our team of experts manage your social media workload for you so you can get back to doing more good. Remember, every small act of courage, no matter how small, is not actually small at all. You, my dear, are standing among Lionhearts.